Welcome to Rock Your Reinvention. I'm Karen Freeland, your guide to ditching corporate and designing a life you love. If you're ready to shift your mindset, boost your confidence, and finally take action on that dream career or business, you're in the right place. It's your time. Let's rock your reinvention. Hello, and if you're listening to this in real time, Merry Christmas. I've got a really special gift for you today. But first, let me explain. I'm taking the next 2 weeks off to spend time with family and be present for the holiday. One of the things I always try to model for my clients is running your business in alignment with your values and designing a life you really love. And I don't just talk the talk, I'm over here walking it out. I'm not about that hustle hard, work 24/7 mentality. But I still see a lot of women operating their businesses from a place of scarcity. Oh my gosh, I can't take off. What's going to happen if I'm out for 2 weeks? My business is not going to crumble because I take 2 weeks off at the end of the year. I am more than confident in the systems and processes that I have in place. But I didn't want to leave you hanging until the new year either. So I was talking to my podcast producer, Jason Sircone at Bomb Track Media. Shout out to Jason. And we came up with a great game plan for today. I want to gift you a chapter of Grab Life by the Dreams, the essential guide to getting unstuck and living your purpose. Yes, today you are going to hear me read chapter 10 of my audiobook. And I can't wait for you to hear this chapter because it's all about owning your power. And it has so many good tangible tips that you can implement right now. Plus, I love the Make It Happen section at the end of the chapter. Make sure you do that exercise, okay? No skipping. I really hope you enjoy this gift. As you get closer to the new year, I want this to be the year you fully embrace everything you're capable of. I want this to be the year you step into your full purpose and become who you were created to be. That gets me so excited. I don't want to delay this any longer, but let me just say, if you love this excerpt, you can get the full version by visiting Audible or my website, KarenFreeland.com/dreams. Don't forget, that's Karen with an I, Karin. KarenFreeland.com/dreams to get the paperback, the ebook, or the audiobook. And it's a great way to treat yourself this holiday. Enjoy. Chapter 10, Own Your Power. Margaret Thatcher. Being powerful is like being a lady. If you have to tell people you are, you aren't. Did you know you are incredibly powerful? Stop looking around and over your shoulder. Yes, I'm talking to you. Use whatever word you want. Goddess, queen, badass. You're all that and a Louis Vuitton bag. You have so much inner strength and resilience that you haven't even begun to tap into. But when you do, the world better watch out. They've never seen anything like what you're about to bring. And I can't wait to watch it. Some of you might be thinking, well, looks like Karen finally lost it. She had me up until that last paragraph. And hey, if you are, I get it. It can be hard to hear complimentary things about ourselves and fully embrace our abilities. But we're talking about more than confidence here. We're talking about expressing your personality without any apologies, no holds barred, letting it all go and existing in your fullest being. There will be no more hiding the ugly parts or putting on a facade. Instead, there will only be total alignment between the inside and outside. This means standing up for yourself and pursuing your dreams and goals with determination and fortitude. It means owning your power. Wait, what is owning your power? I was first introduced to this concept of owning your power when I read Helene Lerner's book, In Her Power. She defined power as being able to act from a position of strength rather than react out of fear and limitation. Can you think of a time in your life when you reacted unnecessarily out of fear? I have more than I care to count, but one stands out pretty vividly. When I was in the 6th grade, I was asked to audition for the local kids' news program. Being my dancing, outgoing self, I had no fear of performing. And yet I declined the offer. Why? Because I was terrified of what the other kids at school would think if they saw me on TV. I look back now and wish I could have talked some sense into 12-year-old me. Who knows what might have come from that kind of experience and exposure? Unfortunately, reacting from a place of fear isn't reserved for children. Every day, women, very seasoned and accomplished women, are giving away their power, letting their inner critic drive the bus and allowing fear to rob them of their full potential. Why is it so hard for high-achieving women to own their power, or to change for that matter? I'll tell you why. It's precisely because we're so accomplished. We've done well in so many areas of our lives that we worry we'll make one wrong step and blow it all. We worry about failure, embarrassment, what others will think of us. Unfortunately, that's a lot of wasted energy. All that worrying accomplishes nothing, especially when it diminishes or limits your power. Going from diminishing your power to owning your power doesn't happen overnight. It's a process that takes practice. And I'm not just talking the talk. I've been through this process a few times and have even made it a daily habit. You can make it one too if you do the exercise in this chapter's Make It Happen section. When I used to tell people my first book's title, I would brace myself, maybe wince a bit, waiting for their reaction. Sometimes I would even preface it with, "Don't let the title scare you," or, "Well, it's not for everyone, but..." Over time, though, I realized their reaction had nothing to do with me. That was on them. I found the courage to own my power and know that the right people would receive it with humor and open arms. I no longer needed to shrink behind my title. I could be the real me, no matter who I was around or what room I was in. Are you ready to be the real you? Are you ready to unapologetically show up and own who you are 100%? Or does being the real you sound scary? It certainly might. Many high achievers I know are worried to be unashamedly, unapologetically, outspokenly themselves because they feel that others, who they think accept and respect them based on a false perception of themselves or only for their merits, no longer will. I've labored under this fear too, but I'm here to tell you that what's on the other side of that fear is one of my favorite words: freedom. It's the freedom to be who you truly are all day, every day. As the saying goes, the people who matter won't mind, and the people who mind don't matter. You might have just let out a sigh of relief like I did when I was writing this. Just the thought alone can bring a lowering of the shoulders and relaxing of tension you're holding in your body. How to own your power. If you're picking up what I'm putting down and want to start owning your power, here are some ways you could explore this. Become self-aware. Most processes in coaching start with self-awareness, as they should. We can't improve what we don't understand. So by getting clear on where you've been giving your power away, you'll have a better handle on what you need to address. Usually this starts with little things, like saying you don't care what movie you watch for Friday date night and ending up with an action flick when you really had a romantic comedy on the brain. Or like not speaking up at work when you get removed from a meeting invite without warning. The problem with not being aware of these minor instances of relinquishing your power is they begin to morph into bigger and bigger concessions until we feel like we have no power at all. Hence, the overwhelming feeling of being stuck. By becoming aware of the situation and reclaiming your power one instance at a time, you can rebuild your strength in this area. Speak up for yourself. Many women lack the assertiveness required to communicate their needs clearly. If this is you, I'd strongly advise that you get support in this area. It's bad enough that women get overlooked at work for not speaking up, but you don't want this to happen in other areas of your life too. Why does this being overlooked happen? Well, to put it plainly, you are not the center of anyone else's universe. I hope that last little bit of tough love didn't sting too badly, but if it did, you probably really needed to hear that. Although we think everyone should know exactly how we're feeling, they don't. You have to speak up and make your ambitions, desires, and wishes known. A friend of mine got looked over for a promotion. When she finally mustered up the courage to ask her boss why they didn't consider her for the role, he told her he had no idea she had been interested in it. Naturally, she was furious, but the only person she had to be mad at was herself. She had been working herself to the bone under the delusion that someone would recognize her hard work and reward her accordingly. She'd never bothered to speak up and discuss her career goals with her boss, leaving him oblivious to her aspirations. What career ambitions do you need to voice? And what about at home? If you're waiting for your husband to realize you want him to fold the laundry, you're going to be waiting a very long time. I agree, it would be nice if our partners were mind readers and did things without being asked, but they don't work like that. Instead, we need to speak up. Ask him to do the laundry and let him know the outcome when he does it. Maybe you'll be in the mood for sex or have more time to help the kids with homework so he doesn't have to. If he still won't do it, take his laundry to the laundromat. I bet when he sees the bill, he'll start folding the laundry. Or he'll be so thrilled that neither of you had to do it, you'll be able to start budgeting for laundry service. Win-win. If speaking up for yourself sounds nerve-wracking, start small. How many times does someone ask you, "Where do you want to go for dinner?" And you just shrug and say, "Whatever you want is fine." That's a minor example, but it illustrates the point of giving away your power. Instead, try giving options at first. I'd prefer sushi or Mexican. Which one sounds better to you? You know you're going to get either your first or second choice, and it might feel less demanding as you're getting your bearings. Eventually, you'll be able to confidently respond, "I want to try the new sushi joint downtown. I'll call ahead and get us a table." As you get more comfortable speaking up in a casual day-to-day setting, you'll find it spills over into your career and other aspects of your life. Set healthy boundaries. One of the biggest challenges my clients experience with owning their power is setting boundaries. Usually, this is because they are playing a losing game of shoulds and supposed tos. They feel like they should cook a 3-course meal each evening instead of getting takeout or asking their spouse to step up and boil pasta once a week. They feel like they're supposed to raise their hand for every special project at work to get promoted. Societal expectation is one of the hardest burdens women carry, but it can be one of the most beneficial to drop. Just as we talked about in Chapter 7 on having a growth mindset, changing your vocabulary and then following through with a different set of actions will make a big difference. What about boundaries in your work-life balance? Working remotely, for instance, can be a blessing and a curse. It's great because we get to be home for the kids or pets, do the occasional load of laundry between calls, and save on the commute time and gas money. However, it can be hard to shut down at the end of the day and decompress before we transition into our household duties. Having a boundary that sets your end time each day is critical to your work-life harmony. In my house, we've always had a no devices at the dinner table policy, so we get at least 30 to 45 minutes a night without any interruptions. What boundaries are you considering implementing? And why haven't you already implemented them? Is the guilt already bubbling up just thinking about it? Please hear this loud and clear. Having boundaries isn't selfish, not even a little bit. Boundaries create a safe and healthy environment for everyone. Consider the rule I have for my kids. No playing in the kitchen when I'm cooking. I didn't set that boundary to be a buzzkill or so I can live out my barefoot Contessa dreams. I set it so that I don't turn around with a hot pot of water and scald them as they come running by the stove, or accidentally gut them with a knife instead of the fish we're having for dinner. You deserve to set boundaries too. So keep in mind that boundaries are only as good as the enforcement of them. If you set a boundary that you aren't going to talk to your friend on the phone every night after work for an hour because it's taking away from the time you need to reach your goals, then you have to actually send her call to voicemail. Otherwise, she'll get the message you're all talk and continue to overstep that boundary. Setting boundaries can be extra challenging if you consider yourself a perfectionist. You've put such high standards on yourself that you feel the need to constantly prove yourself, which in the end makes it hard to prioritize yourself. If you truly want to be the very best you, you're going to have to own your power and set those boundaries. No one else is going to do it for you. Have the audacity. While this could easily be coupled with the speak up for yourself section we just talked about, I wanted to call it out separately because this has been one of my guiding principles since reading Never Eat Alone by Keith Ferrazzi. And let me tell you, it has served me well. What do I mean by audacity? I mean going after what you want with a relentless and bold conviction. I mean speaking up and asking for what you want without any apologies. What does this look like in practice? For me, it meant calling up my former boss, the president of a large telecom company, and asking him to help me get my book, The Ins and Outs of My Vagina, published. Talk about audacity. But you know what? He did it. He introduced me to his editor, publicist, and agent without hesitation. If I hadn't had the audacity to call him and ask for support, who knows if that book would have had the success it did? Audacity also meant reaching out to Dr. Rebecca Heiss, stress physiologist, professional speaker, and founder of Your Fearless Year on Instagram, and asking her for an endorsement of my book. And look how that turned out. She did the foreword. Being audacious allows you to break down barriers and societal constraints that we perceive as obstacles so that our wildest dreams can come true. After all, that's what this book is about, grabbing life by the dreams. With a dose of audacity, you'll be sure to go further than you could have without it. Jackie's story. The impact of owning your power can look different for each woman. Here, Jackie, a member of my Facebook group, Successful Working Women Rocking Reinvention, shares how she found value in this lesson. In January 2022, I felt like I was stuck. I was working in a field that was both emotionally and physically draining. I'd been away from my family for about 7 years and felt like I was alone. I reached out to Karen and told her that I was thinking about moving back to New York. She asked me point blank what was holding me back. In response to what I at the time thought were well-reasoned answers, Karen said, "Those all sound like excuses. If you aren't happy, then why not go for what makes you happy?" I had never heard truer words. I was comfortable, but stuck. I was afraid that if I gave up all of those things and returned home, I would be taking a step back. Soon after our chat, I applied for and was offered a job opportunity that just screamed Jackie, working back in New York with teen moms and their children to help the mothers complete and graduate high school. Though I started slow, within a couple of months, the associate director approached me and asked if I would be interested in being the day camp director. He had seen my potential and wanted to get my feet wet in leadership. I worked hard and never missed a day. Toward the end of the summer, I was asked to be the team's program director, which meant supervising the daycare while holding the case management position that I was originally hired to do. The entire time I was making these advancements, I hung onto Karen's teachings, especially owning your power. I had always known that I was a leader, but I was too shy and too timid to actually go for what I wanted and what I thought I deserved. Because of Karen's lessons, though, I now have more confidence and more knowledge of what I am worth. I am able to harness my power and make a national organization stronger. I've been able to make decisions that have been better for the organization and the clients that I work with daily. I've taken a program that has been in our area for at least 50 years and made it stronger, even when others thought it would fail. I've learned how to write grants for the program to make sure that it is sustainable, and I've taken the role of program director and made it mine. I have learned that I am a powerful woman, that I can have the things I want. I can make my own decisions, and I don't have to just blindly accept what's handed to me. I am in one of the best stages of my life. I am living at home with my grandmother who raised me. I am in a position of leadership and making much needed changes for the community, and I am happy. I still have lots to learn, but I am in such a different place than I was in January 2022. So take a page from Jackie's book. Don't wait for permission or validation from others to own your power. You don't need it. You can take small steps every day to assert your power and work toward your goals, whether it's speaking up in a meeting, setting a healthy boundary with your partner or children, negotiating your speaker fee, or pursuing a new business venture. Your dreams hang in the balance, waiting for you to reach out and grab them. You have all the power you need inside of you to make it happen. What are you waiting for? I hope the answer is nothing, because we're about to dive into part 3 and the edit method, my dedicated system for setting and achieving the goals that will allow you to grab life by the dreams. Excited? You bet I am. Let's get into it. But first, make it happen. Create a power statement. A power statement is a short, positive affirmation that encapsulates your strengths, values, and goals. It can help you connect with your inner strength and remind you of your unique qualities and goals, even in challenging or uncertain situations. Take the following steps to make your own power statement. Start by reflecting on your strengths, values, and goals. Think about what makes you unique and what you want to achieve in your life. Write down a list of words and phrases that capture these qualities. For example, you might write down words like confident, determined, creative, empathetic, or empowered. Use these words and phrases to craft a short, powerful statement that embodies your sense of self and what you want to achieve. For example, your power statement might be something like, I am a strong and confident woman who is capable of achieving my goals and making a positive impact on the world. Remember, the power of your statement lies in its personal relevance. Choose words and phrases that deeply resonate with you and evoke a sense of confidence, strength, and empowerment. My power statement when I was writing this book was, I am a talented writer with an important message that will change women's lives and have a ripple effect bigger than I can fathom. Once you have created your power statement, repeat it to yourself regularly, especially in moments when you need to assert yourself or draw on your inner strength. You can write it down and display it somewhere visible, store it in your phone and read it on the go, or repeat it to yourself silently in your mind. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you're inspired to take action by committing to one of the tips or strategies we talked about in today's episode. If you want more accountability and support, I've got your back. Book a complimentary Empowered Exit Strategy call today. Visit KarenFreeland.com to learn more and book your 45-minute session. Until next time, stay fabulous.